Hello, students of Clemson University. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. If you don't know me, my name is Jeselle Eli. I am originally from New Rochelle, New York, and I'm a life coach, but I'm also an activist. I'm an activist when it comes to the message of knowing your status, of making sure that HIV is no longer a scary topic, but something lighter that we can go into our homes and communities and start living in a place of better and more acceptance. So first of all, thank you to Hakeem, who saw me on Candy's show, Candy Coated Nights, and he reached out to me and was like, I'd love to have you come and speak to our students for World AIDS Day. And I thought it was a fantastic idea. I'm not sure that he knew where I was located at the time, but that's why we have this and that's why you're watching me, because we're going to find a way to make it happen. So right now I'm actually talking to you from Zambia, Africa, Lusaka to be exactly, the capital city of Zambia. And I'll be here for a year, maybe more, who knows. And I'm currently working with Grassroot Soccer Organization, which is an organization that uses the power of soccer to educate the youth about HIV awareness and prevention. As well as doing my coaching. You know, I love coaching, I love speaking, and I will be doing that for the rest of my life, because through coaching I have been able to save myself, so to speak, from a place that was very low, as you will soon learn the reason why. So why we're here today? Because it's World AIDS Day. So happy World AIDS Day. Why is it happy, you ask? Why it's happy is because we're having forums like this. We're having this conversation more often so that we can stop this. And you know, I have your topic, your theme for this World AIDS Day, which I have a feeling is actually the theme quite a few places globally. I don't know if maybe it's something they've thought about together, not part of the thinking part of that, but getting to zero. Zero new HIV infections, zero discrimination, zero AIDS-related deaths. I know you guys have some questions for me, and we're going to get to that. But before I answer any questions, as an activist, as a person who HIV has touched in a way that I never thought would be for me, I think it's important that I just talk about your actual theme for just one moment. Getting to zero. So, how? I think that's the big question, is how. How are we going to get to zero new HIV infections? How are we going to get to zero discrimination? And how are we going to get to zero AIDS-related deaths? I have a few ideas. When it comes to zero new infections, first things first, you've got to get tested. If you don't know your status, you will never be able to not pass it on if you do have it, or you will never stay negative if you are negative. Does that make sense? I mean, really. You're dating people, maybe you're married. I don't know what your situation is, but everybody's situation is different. But the one thing that is true is that everybody's having sex. And if you're not having sex and you're abstinent, power to you, I respect you. If I could turn back the hands of time, hey, maybe I would have tried that. But I didn't. So, you know, now I am actually a person that is living with HIV, and I've come to that point where I'm proud of it. One of the questions that you guys asked is, when I was diagnosed, how did that affect me physically, emotionally, mentally? You know, and I can't wait to answer that question, because out of all of them, that was one of the most exciting questions for me to get to. So, another thing, how can we get to zero discrimination? Educate yourself. Guys, HIV, and especially I'm talking to you from Africa right now, but in the United States, HIV is just as prevalent as diabetes. It's almost the same now. Not the same reactions, not the same, you know, diagnosis, but it's just as abundant. There are so many people living with diabetes, so many people that's got to watch what they eat, make sure that they take their insulin, make sure that they're, you know, taking a little bit of sugar when they need to take sugar to get their blood levels up, or whatever the details of diabetes is. But then there are also damn near as close people living with HIV. So how are we going to stop discriminating? Educate yourself. Know the facts. Know how people are infected. Know the details of someone who is infected and how you can empathize with them more. Know exactly what it is that they need to do so that you can be a better supporter. Know exactly where they are in their status if somebody is positive. This is a great one. If somebody is positive and they're sleeping with someone who is not positive, that person who's not positive is also going to be discriminated against. I've experienced it myself, and that's something that it was unfortunate. It was really, really unfortunate. I really wish that there was a way that that person didn't have to be looked at a certain way because they were sleeping with me, and people that are strong enough to stand up and, fight for the person that they love and they care about and they want to be with, more power to them. And that's why I share my stories with you. I'm open and I'm candid in as many ways as I can be without being too vulgar, because, we don't want that to happen. Like to keep some things private. But for the most part, it's just about being fair. If someone told you they had cancer, you wouldn't treat them any differently. You would hold them, you would support them, you would comfort them, you would be there when they needed you. The same goes for HIV. People who are positive, we need you just as much as anybody with some sort of ailment, disease, diagnosis, condition, whatever. So the last point there, just a moment, 0 AIDS-related deaths. Guys, in case you didn't know, HIV develops into AIDS, but it's not AIDS that kills you. AIDS, so you know. And there's a lot here that I want to really educate you guys about, but I feel that because it's World AIDS Day, you will be getting those resources of education from other areas. And I hope that you guys have arranged for that to happen, because I feel that I was brought in here to speak to you guys as someone who is living with the virus, someone who is living positively with the virus, and not necessarily as an educator to teach you the ins and outs of how you're infected and what happens in your cells and what numbers and this and that and that and this. So, to go to 0 AIDS-related deaths, why I bring that up is because know how the body works, know how your body functions. As I was saying, HIV leads to AIDS, but AIDS is not the killer. AIDS is what depresses your immune system, so much so that you can get other infections. So HIV or AIDS, or let me put it this way. When you're tested for AIDS, or when you're tested for HIV, you come back positive. You now have to continue getting tested so that your T cells can be tested and your viral load can be tested. Your T cells are the white blood cells in your body that keep your immune system going healthy, going strong. When your T cells are 200, that is when someone is considered with AIDS. Now, not only 200, but also with an opportunistic infection. So you must have both of those in order to be considered to have AIDS. And it's at that point that your body is malfunctioning, that it cannot take care of itself because of the lack of immunity. Does that make sense? I hope it does for you. I hope you're shaking your head. I can't see you, but I feel you, and I'm so honored to be here across the seas with you, especially coming from Africa, where there's so much judgment and discrimination here, and I'm going to share a little bit more with you about that and what it is that I actually do here with GRS. So yeah, getting AIDS-related deaths down to 0. Know your body. Treat yourself well. Make sure you take enough time for yourself. Make sure that you are healthy. You can't care for anyone unless you care for yourself. You can't teach anyone unless you teach yourself. You can't love anyone unless you love yourself, right? So eat well. You guys are college students. Don't drink too much. Be healthy. What you do today is planning for your tomorrow. So if you need to make sacrifices today so that you have a better tomorrow, hey, do it. Think about it. Think about, what is this going to do for me? If I do it right now, how is it going to affect me 5 years from now, 10 years from now? You know what's interesting? And I'm going to get to your questions. all the questions you guys asked. Let me grab my phone here. And also, we're pretty lucky because the electricity went out and it came back on because I'm in this place that they have a generator, and it went out again, but then this stayed on, so I'm like, yes, awesome. You guys ask a lot about my sex life. You guys did not ask how I was infected. I find that very interesting. And I'm sure that piqued your curiosity. And you know what, I'm not even going to tell you. But I'll tell you this. I did just tell you to be careful of the choices and the decisions you make today because it will affect your tomorrow. Let's just say it was something that I had chose to do, you know, that affected my decisions in that period of time because my judgment was off. Everything was off. You know, one day when my book comes out, you'll get to read all about that. And if I get to come and talk to you guys again in person, or do it like this, or if we find a Skype call or something like that, you can hear more about that. But that's something that you guys should be interested in, because I'll tell you this, being here in Africa, I am finding more people that have been infected for reasons that I have never, ever experienced. So it's a whole other topic on itself, so we're gonna stay to the point. Let's take a little break, right? Because I want to show you a bit about GRS, Grassroot Soccer, and show you some of the work that I'm doing out here. And you can meet one of my other coworkers, David, on the field, and learn a little bit more about his story and why it's so important that I may not be a youth anymore, but I was 22 when I was infected, and you guys are at that prime age of people that are infected that we should be supporting, we should be learning, we should be doing everything we can do, because at the end of the day, sex is not going away. And if sex is not going away, then we've got to take massive action to make sure that HIV goes away. And it can only be done by what you do for you and everybody surround you in your circle. So take a look and see what we do at Grassroot Soccer. And I'm so excited for you to see some of the kids that get to experience this, and hopefully your soccer teams out there can take part in this and have a little tournament of your own. It'd be so much fun and so rewarding for all of the people that you get to help. So take a look.
Hi, my name is David Kapata. I work for Grassroot Soccer. I'm a project coordinator, and I'm here to share with you what we do here right here in Zambia, how we work with the youth on HIV AIDS prevention and awareness. First of all, I'll start from where I started from. I started as a participant back in the 2005. I was just a participant of the school. I came into contact with Grassroot Soccer that works on HIV AIDS prevention and awareness. What we actually do here is that we train youths on HIV and AIDS prevention and awareness in the communities between the ages of 12 to 18 years old. So we use interactive activities that are football related on the spread of HIV and AIDS, life skill training, resiliency, male circumcision, gender-based violence, and that's what we do here. Personally, I must say I've benefited from this program because of where I am right now. Just from being a participant to being a peer educator, but also working in the field, working with my fellow youths, and now I'm a project coordinator. This is how I've been empowered. Excuse you. And then this big word. Can someone read it out for us?
Confidentiality.
Confidentiality. What is confidentiality? Yes, Walia.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself. Okay? That's being confident. Now there is other words like reality. Reality. Believing in yourself as confidence, huh? Okay?
It's like the best example I can give is where you have a session with somebody, like whatever you're told, you keep it to yourself. You do not discuss what you're told with other people.
Alright? So when you're taught something, please do not reveal it with others. Do not tell them that I'm not wearing a time right now. As I told you. As an example. Excuse you! Yes! Risty! Alright, so we know what respect is, lead, and confidentiality. By all means, in our skills circle, in our skills intervention, we'll try to, not even try, we're going to do these things. Respect one another, alright? When someone is talking, please listen, give them your ear, be polite. Even if they say something that will injure your feelings, just approach them politely. Lead. Alright? Do not just wait for me to lead an activity or your friend, also lead by example. Alright? Every castle is supposed to be in church. Confidentiality, whatever we discuss here should remain here. Alright? And whatever we discuss with other people, if you've said please don't take it out there, it should remain with you too. Alright. So with me I'm going to respect you, lead, and I'm going to exercise confidentiality. Alright? I'm also going to do that. So I've told you a secret, you don't go out. I've benefited largely from this program because I've been trained in managing skills. Right now I'm coordinating about 112 peer educators that are delivering HIV and AIDS related HIV AIDS activities in the field, training youths to empower them with knowledge, empower them with assertiveness, self-efficacy, also to empower them for future jobs. That's what we're doing right now. So some of our peer educators right now are being trained into employable skills that they can find jobs next year. So it's a very good program. I wish that we could, in a way, try to incorporate this program and the programs that are being done out there in the States and other parts of the world. That we can work together in the fight against HIV and AIDS, but we bring the HIV prevalence rate to zero deaths related to HIV and AIDS, and just fight the noble cause together as one, as a team in the world. Having said that, it's very important that youths like you and myself to be empowered in the fight against HIV and AIDS, because we are not the future leaders, we are the leaders of today. So we run the world. We need to control the world, but if we do not take care of ourselves, if you're not empowered with this knowledge or this information, you may never know how to be resilient, how to be assertive in life. So you need to be empowered so you can also share the information with other youths in the world. Sport is a very, very unique tool that brings youths together. Youths like you and myself, we are very energetic. We need to get involved in sport. Sport for development, not just sport to just laze around and just make money, but also to develop ourselves, to develop the world, and also to live a life full of skills that we can also pass on to the next generation. Having joined Grassroot Soccer has really helped me and impacted my life a lot. Apart from just being employed to work for Grassroot Soccer as a project coordinator, when I started off as a participant in 2005, I was just coming from losing my mom, who died in 1997. When I was just a kid, she died from HIV AIDS related kind of diseases. I had a sibling as well, also passed on 7 years later. That really impacted me a lot negatively in my life. I lost self-esteem, I couldn't be resilient. But when I came into contact with Grassroot Soccer, I came to realize, after being trained, I realized that I can be resilient, I can be who I want to be. If I want to see the change in the world, I have to be the change first. Just like the great Mahatma Gandhi put it. So that's how Grassroot Soccer has impacted my life. Today, I can look up to myself living for the next 20, 30 years because of the resiliency and the skills that have been inculcated in my life, that I've grasped and I'm holding on to, that I also want to share with you, my fellow youth, and I want you also to go and share with other people out there. So, having said that, the impact that HIV has had on my life, then the World AIDS Day celebration theme is getting back to zero. But how do we get back to zero if I'm working alone and you also may be working alone? How we get back to zero is that once we work together, we get back to zero HIV AIDS infection, getting back to zero to HIV AIDS related deaths. That also help us, help other people as well, those that are HIV positive, getting to accept themselves. It can also help others accept. Getting back to zero as well, once we unite, we're a team, we're together. Right now, I'm alone standing before you, but without your help, without my help, we cannot get back to zero. How we get back to zero is by uniting and working together as one. Alright, my fellow youths, my fellow students at Clemson University, I hear you're big in sport. And sport is, like I said earlier, is a very unique way of fighting HIV and AIDS. Here in Africa, sport is a religion here in Zambia. And you guys are big in sport, let's utilize our skill, let's work together, let's do it together. And I know you've got a very big team that plays football. And I hear good things about your team. The Go Tigers, you guys are really great, and big up to you guys. Skills to you guys.
How was that? Was that not amazing? It is so much fun out here. The dancing, the songs, the culture, and not to mention the smiles, the joy, the hope, the encouragement, the support that we are giving these kids. And I come here and I realized after one of the sessions that we did, we just started a new program called Skills Plus. Skills Plus is specifically curriculum for positive people. And when I went to that first intervention, I tell you, I sat in the car with David, I drove back to the office, and I was bawling, crying for like 20 minutes straight. And I'm like, this is why I'm here. This is exactly why I'm here, because what these people have, this is what I needed. And it's the truth. I was 22 years old, and the only support I had was, 40, 50, 60-year-olds coming from environments which was not familiar to me. I wasn't that, but that was my only form of support. And the thing is that I did not see myself in them. And that's one of the key things to remind yourself. If you never ever think about HIV again, just remember that HIV has no face. You cannot look at somebody and judge them and say, oh yeah, that person is positive. And it's an honor to be speaking to you here on World AIDS Day, or whatever day it is you're watching this, or surrounding World AIDS Day, because World AIDS Day was the only day that HIV was brought up in my life. And I remember very clearly sitting in the high school auditorium, and we'd have speakers come to the stage, and they all had that look, quote unquote, that look. What is that look? Then I saw that and I said, me? Oh, never would I be positive. I was wrong. I'd like to say it was a blessing in disguise, because it got me so angry, it got me so upset that I realized that it was me. If I had to save myself, then I would have to step up, stand up, say something, and save other people too. I find that it's my responsibility to be here, because what I went through to get over this hump of being positive and find the glory and the grace and the gift in being positive is what I need to share with other people, so that they realize that 1, they're not alone, 2, things don't have to change, and 3, you can still live the ultimate life of your dreams, right? So with that said, we only have a few more minutes left here, and I thank you for taking the time out to watch all of this. And let me just go through some of your questions. All of your sex questions. What's wrong with you guys? You want to know if I have anal sex? Man, please. Please. Do you have sex? How often do you have sex? Do you have anal sex? That's all sex questions. Let's keep it moving. I have sex. My sex is great. I'd like to have sex more often, but I am not in a relationship. So if I was, I'd probably do it more. Is that enough for you? And it's all protected. We'll leave that there. That's me being open, right? So, do you always tell your partner? I always tell my partner. I make sure, I just look at it and I think I wouldn't want to be in a situation where someone was sleeping with me and they didn't tell me what was going on with them. It's just a respect thing. I wouldn't want it done to me. So, I give people that decision for themselves, because most often when I tell someone, there's usually an educational process that comes along with it. Once I say, I think things are getting kind of heavy between us, we need to have a talk, there are some things that you should know about me, I happen to be positive. And it's in that moment where I know, is this person interested in continuing to pursue something with me? Are they interested in just knowing me and being my friend? Are they open to learning? If they're open to learning, is it something that we do right now, or is it something that we do over time? And that's usually the case. Once I disclose, I'm in HIV 101 mode, and I start sharing, educating, teaching everything that they need to know about HIV, and then I get into the specifics about where I am at with my HIV status, because again, everybody who is infected, who is living with the virus, has their own thing going on. Everybody's body is different, everybody responds different, everybody reacts different. So, when you're with someone, it's about you and your partner and really discussing and defining what it is that it's going to take to make that relationship intimately successful. Cool? Awesome. How do you tell your partner? I think that's a little bit about how do you tell your partner. Has your sex life suffered? In the beginning, it was tough. It was tough for me, you know, because I'm a Scorpio, so you guys who know Scorpios know how we do. But for me, in the beginning, it was because I was ashamed. I was closed off. So anytime I was with someone, it was very hard for me to completely be open, to completely reveal myself, and to completely let them be with me in all of me. You know, there was a tenseness to me, if you guys can imagine. I mean, imagine a virgin having sex, or imagine, you know, a girl that doesn't really like a boy and she's forced, and, you know, she's feeling, oh, but if I do this, then, you know, maybe he'll like me more, but I'm really not even ready yet, but oh gosh, I guess I just have to do this, oh man. And you're too much in your head, and you're not in the moment, and you're not breathing, you're not passionate, you're not having that emotion that really should be there when you're having these intimate connections. So, is it suffering now? Absolutely not. Do you want kids? If so, are you afraid? Of course I want kids. I am absolutely no way afraid. The only thing I'm concerned about is, you know, when am I going to find that partner that's ready to be with me and be open to go through that whole process. And I'm sure, and maybe you can speak with Hakeem and whoever your other facilitators and organizers are for this event, and I'm sure that these things are really bringing up some questions. And, you know, I'm so eager and willing to keep going through having these questions in whatever kind of way we can coordinate. But take note of these questions. I encourage you to write these questions down. Give it to Hakeem, and let's keep this conversation going, because you may look at me and you say, oh wow, she's positive, but she doesn't look like she's positive. She looks like she's so happy. How's she so happy? I'm freaking ecstatic with my life, but it wasn't always so. You know, so it's like, imagine the next person who hasn't got to where I am of acceptance, what they're going through. You know, how can you guys be that change that you wish to see in the world, as Gandhi would say, you know? What was your most embarrassing moment? You know, I'll have to think about that, because I'm not too sure. There's been such crazy ones. But what has been your craziest, most shocking moment, sex-wise? Whew. Let me think about those two. I'm going to get in touch with Hakeem and get those two to you, because I think that they're great questions. But I think there's more important ones like these last two to be discussed for now, because it's World AIDS Day, and we've got to figure out how you're going to act and how you're going to be more accepting, how you're going to be more supportive once you walk out of this room and World AIDS Day is gone. World AIDS Day should be every day, is what I'm saying. So, what advice would you give to someone who may have just found out today that they had the virus? Whew. Okay, this question is very specific. What advice would you give someone today if you find out that they have the virus? You don't give them advice. You say, I am here if you need me. I am here when you need me. If you need to talk, you come and talk to me. Never say you understand. Do you really? If you are a negative person and someone has the courage enough to tell you that they've been diagnosed as positive, and you tell them, oh man, I'm so sorry, I understand. Do you? Do you really? And that just doesn't relate to HIV. That relates to anything where you really don't understand. But another way, you could say, I can only imagine, or I can't even imagine what you're going through. You know, these are just some little things that help you be a better supporter. So just be there. Number one, be there. And take note for depression. Make sure you keep an eye on them and just know if they're going to fall. Because if they're going to fall, you need to make sure that you have resources to pick them up and put them in the hands of the people that will not let things go haywire and take the wrong turn, if you know what I mean. You know, let's be real, completely honest. Last question before we wrap up here. How did you feel physically, emotionally, and mentally after you were diagnosed? I'm going to make a very long story short. After I was diagnosed, I felt like I went to sleep and I never woke up. I felt dead inside. I felt that my voice was gone. I was not able to have any conversations with people because I felt that all I was HIV. HIV became my identity. It was the only thing about me that I knew, and I hated it. So in reality, for that moment that I was in this bubble of funk, I hated myself. I didn't think that anything was possible for my life. I didn't think I would get married. I didn't think I would have children. I learned quickly that the things that were important to me probably would have not shown up to be important to me as fast if I hadn't have been diagnosed. It took time. It took time. And everybody's grace period, everybody's time to heal is different. Mine was 2 years. And, I have to give credit to my best friend Alice for helping me get out of that funk because she was there. Exactly what I said was what she was. She was there. She didn't stop her life, but when mine stopped, she made sure when there was space for her to come in, she took a seat. She opened an ear. She gave me a hug. She gave me a shoulder. So, what do I have to say to you guys? Get tested, know your status, be a little lighter about it. This is life. This is life. The only thing that we can do to get it to zero is to start accepting it. So once we do that and also support, encourage, and make sure that people who are living with the virus are adhering to whatever medication, treatment, support, care, doctor's visits, clinic visits, blood tests, make sure that they're adhering, let's make it comfortable. That's key. Let's make it comfortable to be positive in this world so that we can reduce others from getting the virus. So again, I hope that you guys will be able to have a soccer tournament out there and do some GRS activities on the field and really use the power and the language and the fun of soccer to share about HIV. And again, thank you so much for having me, and because I am working in sports and development, it would be wrong, completely wrong, if I did not close out by saying, Go Tigers! Woo! So, Clemson University, thank you. Thank you for having me. Also, I am a life coach, and if you guys are interested in life coaching, please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me on my email, which is Jeselle@JeselleEli.com. JESELLEEELLEEELI.com. All my information is there, and I do have a special one-on-one coaching for college students, and I look forward to hearing some of you with your comments, your thoughts, any ways that you've been supportive, and again, thank you so much, and let's get this to zero. I have faith, I believe, and you should too. Peace.
Zico